What's up, guys? Welcome back to Rambling Ray's Fight Night Talk. You're smiling ear to ear. You're grinning ear to ear.
Yeah,
Jacob's missed this.
I haven't done it in a while.
Yeah, we've been gone for like a month or two, it seems. I
think like 2 months.
So apologize for that. We've been gone just because of life. Life happens. Been busy. The last fight we covered was Overeem versus Volkov. So we have a lot of catching up to do because last night was UFC 261, Usman versus Masvidal 2, which was
one of the greatest cards we've seen
in recent years. The last great all-around like pay-per-view card I can think of that was like that was the one where Rose became champ against. It was Rose versus Joanna. It was Cody versus TJ, and then Michael Bisping and George St. Pierre. Like that was the magnitude of this card. That's what it felt like, something like that.
I mean, the Conor one and Dustin Poirier was pretty good.
That was pretty good, but like this all-around card, like from top to bottom, had just like just stuff going on every fight, drama every single fight. But so what we're gonna do is to catch up. We're gonna do like a quick little speed round where I go through the main events since the Overeem Volkov. And we're going to catch all the way up to where we are now. That way, at least we've set our parts for each fight. So, we already said the Overeem versus Volkov fight. The pay-per-view after that was Kamaru Usman defeating Gilbert Burns by TKO. So, both were former teammates. Just quickly, Gilbert put Kamaru in trouble in that fight. Yeah. Dropped him, hurt him, stung him.
Blows.
Yeah, traded blows. And then Kamaru showed that he's a champ. Came back, TKO'd him, I believe in the second. That piston straight, dude, the piston straight right, which we're going to get to eventually with Masvidal. That's what he caught him with. That's the main thing we're going to focus on that fight. So from there, Usman went on to fight Masvidal 2, which we're going to cover. Burns went on to get matched with Wonderboy Thompson, who he's going to be fighting coming up. Next up, Blaydes versus Lewis. A vicious knockout.
Very bad knockout.
And just the memes that came from Derek, what he was tweeting, just hilarious. Anything to say about that fight?
Not really, other than Derek Lewis has power, and I'm ready to see Ngannou versus Lewis too.
I am too. And, people always say his weakness is wrestling, but he keeps putting out wrestlers like this.
Yeah.
I will say it was a sloppy, shoddy shot on Curtis Blaydes' part. It was that Ben Askren type of just bending at the waist. Yeah, bending at the waist and getting caught. All it takes is one from Derek Lewis, and one of the most vicious knockouts of the year. I don't know if they're gonna say not. It'll be a contender for knockout of the year. I still think that Corey Sandhagen flying knee on Frankie Edgar.
That was bad.
And we still have plenty of fights to go.
Oh yeah.
But that's gonna be a runner for knockout of the year. It was the most vicious. I'll say that as far as just going limp and.
Just stiff, dude, and just falling back.
This is a small little, this was on the undercard, but Tom Aspinall, he fought Andrei Arlovski. He is an athlete, and he's an up-and-comer in the heavyweight division.
Yeah.
He's going to get in that mix real quick, and I'm interested to see how that goes, because we're starting to get like better all-around fighters in the heavyweight division, but also like athletic heavyweight fighters. You're seeing less of the beer gut, more of people with like all-around good skill, talent. I mean, people are really... The heavyweight division is growing and getting deeper. Okay, so that covers that one. We had Rozenstruik versus Gane, another heavyweight fight. Cyril Gane won by decision. He went on to get matched with Alexander Volkanovski. And
I'm also excited to see that.
I'm so excited to see that one. Some people are saying it's going to be a snooze fest because both are very technical strikers. Even then, though, I think you're going to see even if worst case scenario, you're going to see a really good chess match between strikers.
You're going to see a striking match and a cardio clinic.
And I think the winner of that probably could be the front runner for the heavyweight, for the shot at the number one contender for the heavyweight belt. Because by that time, you're going to have Derek Lewis and Ngannou 2 most likely happening. Things to draw from that fight were that. Dude, Cyril Gane has some serious speed. He's got serious speed and serious cardio. Yeah. People were criticizing, saying that it was a boring fight. They said nothing, not a lot happened. Cyril Gane was on the tips of his toes the whole fight,
he was
bouncing
as a heavyweight.
Yeah, and his jab was lightning fast.
Yeah.
You know, people to the casual eye, people gonna be like, "Oh, it was boring," but I'm like, there was a lot in that fight that showed me that, like, dude, this guy's gonna be a threat at heavyweight. And, you know, you don't see a heavyweight even breathing like normally in the 5th round, let alone bouncing on their toes, maintaining that karate stance. So that's what we pulled from that fight. Next up, Blachowicz versus Adesanya, which was pretty cool. That was a pretty cool card. All around, that card was great. You had Dominic Cruz beating Casey Kenny by decision, so Dominic Cruz could still hang in there. People are now calling for the Sugar fight with him. I think
Sugar honestly beats him.
I think he might start.
I'll probably be rooting on Dominic Cruz, but the way I saw him fight, he seemed gassed. He seemed
tired in the 3rd.
Yeah.
Still had that crazy footwork, but tired in the 3rd.
Yeah, great footwork, but
yeah, Thiago Santos versus Rakic. Not even really going to cover that one. That was a decision, and that somebody got their black belt for not even grappling. There was not even any grappling or ground game in that fight. But, you know, Rakic, he moves on in the light heavyweight division. He's probably a front runner for the light heavyweight title shot after Glover Teixeira fights Jan. You have Islam versus Drew Dober. It just shows that Islam is dominant. He's coming out of that Khabib camp, and man, that was a serious fight. I feel like, did we cover this?
Yeah, it's kind of sounds like we did.
I don't know why it's going in this. Maybe the app I'm using is kind of messed up. But anyways, we did cover this.
Yeah, because I remember putting our picks out.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we're moving on from that one then. That's bizarre. Yeah. See.
Yeah.
Edwards versus Muhammad. We covered, didn't we?
Yeah.
We covered that. Brunson versus Holland. Covered that.
Yeah, we said we're disappointed.
We did not cover Miocic and Ngannou. I know we did not cover that. So
that's the one that we were trying to put out there.
Yes. So did I just waste all my breath covering?
No, I think
Rosenstruck and Gain, Blades versus Lewis. We didn't cover Usman Burns.
No, we didn't cover Usman Burns, Blades versus Lewis.
Anyways,
Rosenstruck versus Gain. I'm not too sure.
Well, one take, baby. That's all you get.
Yeah. We got you caught back up, you know.
Exactly. We have the 3 fights I would like to cover on this. Sean O'Malley versus Thomas Almeida. Starch Thomas Almeida. My personal opinion, again, I have more critique on the commentary team. They were pissing me off during this fight.
Yeah, you could definitely tell it was more one-sided. Joe Rogan, especially Joe Rogan, like, oh, look at that. He's, like, not on Sugar Sean's side. And I'm not one to say, like, you pick sides, but he was definitely winning that fight, but he was critiquing him way too much and saying, oh, he's going to get tired, or oh, he's going to lose. Look, he's just sloppy out there.
It almost sounded like he was betting on Almeida to win. And also, the biggest thing, all 3 commentators were talking about how there Sean goes again. He's, you know, like he's not capitalizing on dropping Almeida. You know, he's letting Almeida get back in the fight, which in some fights that's the case, but at the same time, let the fighter do what they're going to do.
Yeah.
It would be dumb for him to drop him, because he drops him in the first with a spinning heel kick. He drops him and didn't get on top of him, right? Like, he walks away and then he turns, referee didn't stop it, and then Almeida got back up, and Almeida did recover, but eventually in the third, Thomas catches him and knocks him out clean. I mean, the walk-up shot at the end of the fight was vicious.
Yeah,
Sugar
Sean just catches him.
But the commentators are talking like, you know, sometimes yes, sometimes people make mistakes and they let somebody else get back in the fight.
And the guy comes back and fight and like wins, but
you know, he did walk away, sure, but at the same time, it'd also be dumb if he just followed up, get on the ground game if that's not what he wanted to do and get submitted or something. Like, he dominated the fight. Just let the fighter do what he's going to do. Like, they're criticizing him from criticize the technique. Don't criticize like that kind of those kind of actions. In my opinion, that's just me. Then you had Vicente Luque versus Tyron Woodley. People were sleeping on my boy Luque, and I was picking Luque to win. We both were.
Yeah.
And I've never seen somebody so rocked in my life.
I know, he bouncing off the cage, wobbling. Like,
Tyron was rocked. It was like a minute straight.
Yeah.
He was just on wobbly legs, spaghetti.
I'll give him that he had heart and he wanted to win.
He was swinging back.
He couldn't stand a chance.
And he caught Vicente with bombs too.
Yeah.
He was swinging back, but Vicente stood in there. He's tough, man. I've been telling people he's tough. So that's an interesting fight at 170. I'm going to bring up Vicente Luque again later. Tyron Woodley since has been cut from the UFC. And then finally, you had Stipe Miocic versus Francis Ngannou. I've never been so happy, but also so depressed at the end of a fight.
Yeah,
I was so happy for Ngannou. They showed him, knowing his story, where he came from, coming from Cameroon, and just all the adversity he went through. And finally, he gets to this point in his career, and he becomes a champion. You can tell he's like crying, and it like gave him the childhood that he didn't really have. So emotional, dude. It felt amazing seeing him.
I know.
And just mixing up the heavyweight division, like him becoming champ, it's interesting. And then you see Stipe.
And the way he got knocked out, the way he falls back on his leg, and just everything about him.
He folded back. I mean, it was a vicious knockout. Knockout. And he's older. I mean, eventually down the line, they might make the trilogy, because right now it's 1-1, right? And I mean, Stipe got rocked twice. I say rocked. He got rocked once, and then gets back up, and then got put out. Yeah. Ngannou stopped the takedowns, which was a big question everybody had.
I think that's what made Stipe lose, or he got in the losing mindset, because he's like, that's all I got. That's all I had in the first fight. That's all I have in this fight.
And but the thing is, like, he caught Francis with a good counter.
Yeah, he did.
He was backpedaling, planted through the straight, and even that one shot, like, I'm not gonna like look way into this, but he did catch Francis in the eye, and you could see. I mean, Francis's eye was like this.
And Francis he like wobbled a little bit.
Yeah, he backed up,
But then Stipe was rocked and came running.
He continued coming forward. He caught him with one shot and then continued coming forward, and got slept bad. Francis,
which you can see that he did that in multiple fights. Stipe, like, he would stun DC or stun like Fabricio, then he'd come and like get them so they don't recover. But this wasn't the case.
Yeah. Dad just broke that pole.
Oh, Dad.
So I'm about to have to go tell him not to come in here since we're filming. Then after that, we have Vettori versus Holland.
He's probably gonna get on to us about the pole.
Yeah, most likely. You ready to see my dad fuss us out about a pole we use to clean the pool. Whatever. The big one I want to cover: Marvin Vettori versus Kevin Holland. Just real quickly. Holland fought better than he did against Brunson. Against Vettori, he showed some urgency. Wasn't running, talking as much crap and everything. He still got dominated. Like, the blueprint to beat him is there.
Whoever said he wasn't, like, he's an athlete, don't get me wrong. He's got power, he's got striking. But whoever said he's a black belt at Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, he might be.
Mm-hmm.
But he just doesn't have any urge to get up or try to stuff takedowns or, do anything wrestling-wise. He just lays on his back where, Jiu-Jitsu artists like to be. But in a fight, you can't do that.
The Joe Rogan podcast where his head coach was gassing him up to be better than George St. Pierre and all this other.
He could be, but he's still young. He needs more experience before.
He could be, but he's not. That's the thing. Like, if he was, you would have saw it. And it's just, I'll say this: I'm still a Kevin Holland fan. I want to see where he goes from here. It sucks because, he went from being like this potential just star to now he's had really bad showings these last two fights, just being dominated,
back to back, same way.
Like 10 rounds. Like right now we're at 10 rounds of being utterly dominated.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I still think that he could be a future contender and a dangerous fighter. I think the move for him is if he wants to stay 185, he's going to have to put on some muscle mass. And also, he's going to no matter what, he has to get in a good camp where he's learning the wrestling fundamentals. He's got to at least get defense in wrestling. But also, it'd be also nice to see if he went to 170. He would be humongous at 170. He said he could make the 170 weight. That would be...
Even the commentators were saying, he mentioned going to 170. I think most likely, that would be his best bet, is to try out 170.
I think that's what he needs to do. So then we have that. I'm not even going to cover that because I don't even want to say their names.
Yeah.
And it's not UFC news anyways. So, okay. Then we have Whitaker versus Gastelum.
Which was...
Dude, I love Bobby Knuckles, man. I'm a Bobby Knuckles fan. I love that dude.
You cannot not like him.
If you've never listened to his podcast, please do. It's funny because I'm saying that and his podcast has way more views than ours. Like he actually has fans, and I'm like, if you haven't listened to it, give it a check.
But still,
I mean, he's hilarious on there. You get to see some of his personality. Also, his jiu-jitsu coach is fucking hilarious. They're both just so funny.
they're just all around great people.
Yeah, and they're good people, like genuinely good people. I love Bobby Knuckles. I want to see him be the champ again. I like Izzy. I'm going to be Team Bobby Knuckles till I die. They could fight 1,000 times, and even if Bobby Knuckles lost 1,000 times, every single time, I'm going to be backing Bobby Knuckles, dude. I love Rob Whittaker, the Reaper. He's the man. He's the man, dude. It was a decision. He had Gastelum hurt. Dude, it's just an example, and we're going to get into this with the Masvidal versus Usman 2 fight. It's just an example of, even if you just use the basics, if you drill the basics to where you have speed, the technique down, everything down,
It's unstoppable.
it's unstoppable. I mean, you could win it. I mean, you could
'cause you
be a
become
champ.
perfection
Yeah.
at that one combo, that one move.
And for him, it's the 1-2 high kick.
Yep.
The 1-2 right high kick. And I said he was supposed to fight Paulo Costa, and I was telling everybody, he'll 1-2 high kick Paulo Costa to the moon. That's what he'll knock Paulo Costa out. I'm telling you, he would. Even if and then he got matched with Gastelum, and I'm like, yeah, Gastelum has hand speed. This fight was supposed to happen like 2 years ago, and Robert Whittaker, he rocked him with it, and he just dominated the fight. He shows his heart, he shows his technique, his conditioning. I mean, he's got it all, dude. Some UFC news is that they made the Vettori fight versus Israel Adesanya. I think what they're trying to do is get him back in the public eye as being a winner, Izzy, because
he's coming off the loss of Jan.
Naturally, people see you lose and then they stop talking about you as much, which is a crime because Izzy is a talent.
Oh,
I mean, he's a star, dude. Like, he's one of the best strikers in the UFC, if not the best. But I think they're going to try to get him another win against Vettori, and I think he starts as Vettori like within 2 rounds. It doesn't go past 2 rounds, in my opinion. And then I think after that they'll make the Bobby Knuckles Rob Whittaker fight. I don't think Izzy's afraid. Everybody keeps saying he's afraid. Some people will say Rob's afraid.
Yeah.
Dude, you're in the UFC. You're a champ. I don't think you're afraid.
Yeah.
I don't think either guy's afraid.
If you've been through like all those fights, you're not afraid.
I think they're both taking each other serious. I don't think Izzy's going to underestimate Rob Whittaker because Rob Whittaker's been. I think what Izzy wants is to fight all these different guys. The sequels don't really sell well in fighting. He wants to have Cannonier. He wants to have Till. He wants to have names that he hasn't been matched up with yet, because when people look in the history books, that's kind of what you want to see. You want to see a variety of names, but you can't argue that Rob Whittaker doesn't deserve it. And Vettori has been trying to argue that. The dude's a damn fool for trying to do that. He's trying to say he doesn't want it and yada, yada, yada. Okay, so we're finally caught up to last night. Usman versus Masvidal. Do you want to go ahead and start covering the Anthony Smith-Jimmy Crute fight real quick?
Yes. Do you want me to go about the Cowboy fight, though? Alex Oliveira and all that?
I was going to say no, but since you brought it up, you can.
Yes. I'm going to go ahead and go over that because they had some beef at, like, the end. And I don't know if it was because the weigh-ins or whatnot. But Alex Oliveira lost by rear naked choke to Randy Brown.
One arm rear naked choke, very rare.
Yeah, one arm rear naked choke. It was standing, then they fell to the ground, and Randy Brown successfully got the submission. It was a good fight. Randy Brown had power. He rocked him at first, I believe, with a straight, dropped him. They got back up. He got in the clinch and choked him out from there. Then Randy Brown kept like cussing him out and just like fussing at him. I don't know if that was because
The exact
way-
words were "fuck you, pussy."
Yeah, those were the exact words. I don't know why, because I know they had some kind of weird beef at the weigh-in, but
Yeah, the weigh-in was bizarre because Alex Oliveira kept comparing his hair to Randy Brown's height. I don't know, it was weird. He was doing this, and then he got this, he was already in his face, and then he just like storms off the stage like he was in a hurry to go somewhere. I don't know, dude. I don't know what it was. It was weird. And then again, he said that Randy Brown said he was going to announce it on his Twitch, which I haven't seen anything, or I haven't even been looking.
So go to the Twitch if you want to hear about that, more information.
Touch and Go 170 or something. I think it's his Twitch.
Next fight was Anthony Smith and Jimmy Crute.
Yes. Now, I will say it's so hard, dude, because I love Anthony Smith. Well-spoken dude, another good guy of the game. He's a veteran. He's got a good style. Just all around like the guy. I also like, Jimmy Crute. He's young. He's like 25 years old, and the dude's a tank of a man.
Oh, yeah.
Thick.
You
he's
can
not,
tell.
He's not lengthy, though. He's not like, he doesn't have long limbs, but just sturdy.
But he's a powerhouse.
Yeah, he's a powerhouse. With Anthony Smith, it's so hard, dude, because you're looking at a guy who's beaten, like, Ozdemir. He's beaten, not just beaten, but finished. Ozdemir. Alexander Gustafsson. He's fought killers. He's fought John Jones.
Yeah,
He's fought
that's what
Thiago
I'm saying.
Santos. Like, the dude's a vet. 50-plus fights, and he's only, like, 32 or 33. But then, like, you see his last couple performances, like, he
got beat by
Glover.
Teixeira.
Like, it was a bad beating, too. It wasn't... That was rough to watch. I forgot who else he got beat by. I don't know if it was Thiago Santos. I don't know if they had the rematch. Or was it... who was his other fight? Was it Rakic? And they might have fought. He's coming off of 2 losses, and they were both kind of tough to watch. So I was like, I don't know how. I'm not saying his heart's out of it. I mean, the dude's named Lionheart. Come on, but I'm just like, I don't know. It's hard because he's been, he's coming off of some bad losses, and you have this up and comer, like you said, powerhouse, and I'm like, this could be a dangerous fight. So I was rooting on Anthony Smith, but I think we were both thinking...
We were both thinking Jimmy Crute.
Jimmy Crute was probably going to catch him early.
And boy, we were wrong.
Yeah, we were wrong. I mean, Anthony Smith was establishing a fast, stiff, mean jab.
Oh.
I mean, catching him. Like, he had him sitting back.
Yeah.
I don't want to say rocked, because I'm not, it's not like
he wasn't stumbling, but his head was definitely getting knocked back. He's like, whoa.
His momentum. I mean, the mullet. The mullet was telling it all. All you got to do is keep your eyes on the mullet. Yeah, that's one thing I noticed. If you have a mullet and you're getting punched, you can see the damage all the way through the mullet. Like, yeah.
The whiplash.
I'm just saying, if I was a judge, that would be like a factor in my decision making. It just looks like the shots hurt more when you have a mullet. I don't know why that is. I think it's just because it's whipping. But so he's establishing the jab, and then late in the first round, he lands like a really good leg kick. It's to the backside of Jimmy Crute's knee. I kept thinking it was a calf kick that put his leg out. There's the nerve. I think he still damaged that nerve because Jimmy Crute had drop foot.
Yeah.
He was picking up his leg, but your foot stays down and it drags. He had drop foot when he was trying to answer to the bell for the second round. He was trying to get up and go.
And even
out.
when he got hit with it first and literally fell, then got back up and immediately went for the takedown because he's like, my leg does not work.
Exactly. Like, Jimmy Crute has no quit in him, which is what, it showed. Anthony Smith still was dominating that fight. I mean, it was only 1 round. It's hard to tell. Like, Jimmy Crute could have landed something big in the second or third round. It's the fight game. But the thing is, it didn't happen.
Yeah.
So Anthony Smith wins that it's a TKO by doctor stoppage. And man, the pain in Jimmy Crute's face whenever they were like, the doctor stopped it.
He went back to the corner and he tried to hit the fence and fell again.
Yeah, he hit the fence, fell. Like, I mean, he was yelling too. He was like, I'm good, like trying his hardest. I don't think he drops far in ranking. I think
if anything, I think they might get a rematch.
You think they'll do a rematch?
Possibly.
I feel like they're gonna move on. I feel like they're gonna, I feel like Anthony Smith is gonna move on in rankings. I'm just saying, I don't think Jimmy Crute's name loses any stock.
Oh no.
So that was the result of that fight. That was the opener to the pay-per-view. Next up, dude. Oh my freaking God.
This was
we have a rematch.
Yeah.
Uriah Hall versus Chris Weidman. And if you don't know what happened or if you haven't seen it already,
it's everywhere. It's hard to miss.
The universe basically, like karma. Like what goes around comes around type deal.
So ironic.
Yeah, the irony is rich.
It's bad.
The irony's rich. So it's a rematch. Their first fight, Chris Weidman he knocked out Uriah Hall with a left hook.
Same thing he knocked out with Anderson Silva.
Yeah, he's knocked out Anderson Silva with the left hook. He knocked out Uriah Hall. I mean, it was like back in 2008 or something.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was a long time ago, 8 or 10 years ago. I forgot what they said, however long ago it was. And they finally meet again. This was supposed to be a big fight for both of them. Like, kind of dictates where they go. I don't want to say either guy was going to get cut after this, but I mean, Uriah Hall, he's coming off of a good win of Anderson Silva. Chris Weidman's been having some rough couple years. And dude,
now it gets rougher.
17 seconds into the fight, Chris Weidman throws an outside leg kick with his right leg at Uriah Hall. 17 seconds into the fight.
Nothing has been thrown before this. This is the first strike, throw, anything.
Yeah, Uriah Hall didn't even throw a strike in this fight. He lifts his leg. Uriah Hall lifts his leg, checks the outside right leg kick of Chris Weidman, and we watch Chris Weidman's leg just snap right above the ankle. It just snaps. A disgusting break, which it's happened in MMA before. You know, we've all seen that one that went viral years back. That wasn't in the UFC. But there's only been 3 of those kind of leg breaks. Like, Chris Weidman's in pain. He tries to stand on it. It flops.
He didn't even know until he stand on it and fell back. Then
The crowd went. They erupted. We erupted. I mean, oh, my God.
I could say I enjoyed the crowd, not only for that, but just to hear them back again. And that even made it more astonishing. I was like, oh, my God.
They were, dude, the crowd was...
Leg was like a fucking bendy straw, just straight snapped. It was bad.
Like I said, weeble wobble, dude. That thing, oh my God. Dude, that was so bad.
It was.
But it's just insane that, I don't know what this even means. There's something in here
Dude,
somewhere.
I'm telling you, it's something about the universe. Anderson breaking his leg.
It's either like we're living in a simulation or I don't know what it is, but like Anderson, like the fact that it's only happened 3 times in the UFC, and 2 of them have involved Chris Weidman. Like, it's just bizarre. Anderson Silva, you know, years ago, when after he got knocked out by Chris Weidman, he comes back, challenges Chris Weidman. He throws a leg kick. Chris Weidman checks it, and the same thing happens. His leg snaps, and it's and then here we are.
I got goosebumps.
Uriah Hall's the last one who knocked out Anderson Silva. And Chris Weidman throws the leg kick, and Uriah Hall checks it, snaps his leg, and it's tough to see for Chris Weidman. Like it's hard because like that's an injury that like it takes forever to come back, and you're not the same. And I don't want to say I don't want to sound like I'm trashing him. He is a legend. He'll go down as like as a really good fighter, you know, a great fighter. It's just that it's tough to say this.
I don't see him coming back.
He's kind of on the downhill already, and for something like this to happen, dude.
Because that's going to change you for a fighter, definitely.
And it also changes Uriah. They were saying that too. I mean, there's some mental... Watching somebody's leg, like watching that happen, that's rough. And like you can tell, he was kind of scarred from it. So moving on, I'm not even going to say where Chris Weidman moves on from here because we don't know. He may retire. He may recover in like a year or 2 and come back. Who knows? For Uriah Hall, who do you think he fights next? That's the 185-pound class. Who do you think he fights next? Dude, if Kevin Holland stays at 185,
yeah, I was about to say that would be a great match for him.
Uriah Hall versus Kevin Holland would be cool because
I'd say Kevin Holland wins that one too.
You think Kevin Holland wins it? I think so too. I think so too.
I feel like he's too lengthy, but who knows if he does that striking stuff where he gets in the clinch, he could lose. It's all up in the air. But I feel like Kevin Holland would be a good match for him.
Yeah, Paulo Costa needing a fight, but they've already fought before.
Yeah.
You have Darren Till.
I was thinking about Darren Till.
Because he's recovering from an injury. I don't know the extent of his injury, but him versus Uriah Hall would be a very entertaining striking match. That's kind of why I said it'd be good for Kevin Holland to be a striking match. I don't know. I say Till or Kevin Holland.
Yeah, I agree.
Moving on, we have the first of the 3 championship fights. This is for the 125 championship, we have Valentina Shevchenko, which everybody can agree is the GOAT of that weight class, versus Jessica Andrade. And I wasn't surprised by this fight.
No, I figured it was going this way. I had Valentina winning.
I will say I was surprised at this, dude. Andrade looked strong. We all know that she's strong.
Oh, yeah.
And she
looked-
slammed Rose on her head and knocked her out.
Yeah.
You know, like, she's a brawler.
I
She's
figured that's what she was going to have
Yeah.
against her advantage, wrestling.
Yeah, she's a little berserker. We knew that. Like, I thought she was going to have a power advantage. And I thought
Yeah.
Shevchenko, I'm not saying Shevchenko doesn't have power. I just thought
I feel like
technique beats power, and I thought she was going to beat her with technique. Dude, she beat her with technique and power.
I feel like her strikes weren't going to affect Andrade, but I was
Yeah.
wrong. Like, it was...
Dude, Andrade was, like, trying to pick her up, and literally just, you could see her putting her might, and it was like her trying to pick up a boulder.
Yeah.
Shevchenko didn't even budge. Like, her feet, I don't even think came off the mat at one point. I mean, it was...
She literally just tripped her, threw her. She had her
Yes.
way with Andrade.
Had her way. A grappling clinic. I mean, the way she kept isolating her right arm against the fence to where she couldn't even use her power hand, you know? She had that back clinch position. She was going for the rear naked choke the first round, too. I mean, utter domination. Andrade was never in the fight. Second round, same thing happens, and Shevchenko gets in the crucifix position and finishes the fight
With just elbows.
with elbows. TKO stoppage by the doctor. I mean, there's nothing really else to say about that fight. It was just utter domination. Shevchenko moves on to just solidify even more that she's the GOAT, and I don't even know who they match her with in that weight class.
I think you have to do a Nunes versus Shevchenko, too. I've been wanting this fight. I've been asking for it.
Yeah, 3.
Oh, 3?
Yeah, they've already fought twice, and I think Nunes has won both.
I say third.
Decisions.
Probably still give it to Nunes if they do fight, but I would love to see it. Shevchenko.
It's got to happen eventually, and
Yeah.
Shevchenko even says like it's got to happen. It has to. I mean, it just has to, and I agree. I think Nunes wins that fight, but it's for all the marbles, man. Like that fight's for all the marbles. Whoever wins that is the female GOAT, and either nonetheless, dude, they're both GOATs in their own weight classes.
Because Nunes, she's defeated about everybody you can, so
Yeah.
she will always be a GOAT.
They're going to start throwing men in there or something. I don't know. That's that fight. We have the coming event: Weili Zhang versus Rose Namajunas. Thug Rose, baby.
Thug Rose.
I was
back.
picking Thug Rose. A lot of people weren't. They're like, man,
Oh yeah, no.
you know, Weili is mean, dude. She's mean, and I'm like, I get that, but Rose's footwork is the slickest in the
footwork,
game.
And just her
Power is
technique.
underestimated.
Yeah.
Yes. Technique and speed, you know, is so good.
It's pristine.
Yes, dude. And people were sleeping on that, and
Yeah,
I'm like,
people were doubting her a lot in this fight.
and I was like, Rose is lengthier, and I thought Rose was gonna put on a clinic and win by decision. I didn't think it was gonna be. I didn't think the head kicks were gonna be dangerous. I didn't think she was gonna finish her like that.
No, I didn't think she was going to knock her out.
Yes, lead
'Cause-
high left kick to the jaw.
Zhang Li and freaking John went at it. And I was like, oh.
Joanna went at it.
Yeah, I was like, those you can't put her out. But I was wrong.
yeah.
It was.
And
bad.
I kind of talked about this that night. And
Yeah.
it's not taken away from Rose's technique. Obviously, Rose threw it, she landed it, she won. I think the reason why it happened the way it did, it was so devastating, was Wang Li. You could see it in the fight. She's pulling her leg back, expecting the leg kick. So she pulls her leg back, and when you pull your leg back, your head kind of comes off that center line. Your head's kind of out there. And Rose caught her flush on the chin. Not only did it catch flush, but her head's away from her body because she's looking at her, she's expecting a leg kick. And just, it dropped her. Rose follows up with some hammer fists. She went out. She jumped up and she was kind of mad at Keith Peterson. Keith Peterson is getting it from all angles, man.
Yeah.
Fighters pissed at that dude.
Man,
They're always
I'm
like,
sorry.
man, you drinking and smoking
Yeah.
before my fight. It was a rightful stoppage. And
I think it was good stoppage.
she said it was kind of fast, but I think she kind of noticed, like, oh, yeah, I got
I was out. Like, I didn't even know what happened. She had a footprint on her face. Like,
Yeah.
It was bad.
It was red from her
Yeah.
neck to her chin. My only complaint about that is like, dude, the Florida crowd.
Yeah.
What the fuck is up with y'all? Like,
Why y'all booing?
y'all booing Wei Li just because she's from China? Like, let's be real. You're only booing her because she's not the USA fighter. Like, she's such a good personality for the sport. Like, you can go on any social media. She's a very positive person. Very like.
I know. Even her tweet afterwards.
Yeah.
She's like, yeah, everyone loses. Joanne lost. Rose lost.
Like the
But
greats
they
have lost.
Yeah, it just makes you a better champion. I'll
Yeah.
come back and I'll be there.
And she'll be back. Yeah. And I don't know, man. Like, it just kind of sucked that they booed her like that. I mean, that kind of broke my heart. That's the only complaint I had about that.
I mean, it's the same thing with the Usman and Jorge fight too.
yeah.
That was more because Usman's, from Miami, but
Yeah.
like, still.
This was just because, like, Wei Li was from Florida. Because Wei Li was from China.
Yeah.
Like, that, and everybody knows that, because Wei Li's such a positive person. She's a good role model. I have no problems with her being champ. I'm a huge Thug Rose
And also,
fan.
it's Florida.
Yeah.
Florida's just crazy. Everyone in Florida is crazy.
That's my only complaint, man. That broke my heart to see. I'm like, and they were booing her even after they showed her. They showed her after the knockout, like, still booing her. I'm like, dude, this point,
Just grow up.
yeah, like
come
you're
on.
not being proud. You're not being proud from because you're from a certain nation that Rose is from. It's because I just don't like where she's from. I don't know. That was a big problem I had. That
People-
kind of sucked. I thought we moved past that because that's something from like the 90s.
Yeah.
I feel like 90s.
That's just
UFC.
ignorant.
Yeah, like. I thought we
Ignorance
moved
and
past that,
stubborn.
but I guess we didn't. There's nothing wrong with rooting on a fighter from your hometown or your home state, your home country. Nothing wrong with that. It's good to be prideful of that. But there's a problem when you're booing somebody just because they're from where they're from. That's, hey, bro, that's racist. Like, that sucks. Florida, fix that. Now we have the main event: Kamaru Usman versus Jorge Masvidal 2, the rematch. Going into this fight, a lot of Jorge fans thought that he was going to be way better. The first fight, he only
Oh, yeah.
had 6 days' notice, and even then, it wasn't really an impressive performance by Kamaru. Kamaru just, he held him against the fence. He did foot
Foot
stomps.
stomps him and
He
just
did
rode
what he
him
had to
down.
do to win.
Yeah.
He did what he had to do to win. He got past Jorge. It didn't really feel like he beat Jorge. It just
No.
felt like he got past Jorge.
He's like, all right, another opponent. I'll get past him. I'll keep going down the line.
Yeah, Jorge after that fight said that it felt like it was the softest hits he's ever taken. Maybe that was true at the time. He said it felt like pillow hands.
Yeah.
Maybe that was true at the time. But
He has
this
changed
fight,
his opinion.
yeah, he's changed his opinion this fight. Kamaru Usman said that he was going to get a finish on Jorge. And it was a vicious second round knockout, dude. I
It was.
mean, dude. He has a piston of a straight.
Yeah,
Kamaru
he does.
Usman
His
has
straight-
a piston of a straight.
It's good.
And he's a wrestler. And he's
Yeah.
just getting better and better and better as the time
That's
goes
what's
on.
scary.
And like I did see I saw a good tweet from another MMA analyst. He was saying, yes, Jorge did look good. Like Jorge looked like he was in good shape. He looked like he
looked
actually
in better
had,
shape. He actually trained and
Yeah.
was ready for this fight.
looked like he had a good full camp. But the thing is, even if you're better, since they fought, Kamaru Usman's already had 2 training camps. That's 2 training camps where he's learned, evolved as a fighter. And next time you see Kamaru fight, it's not going to be the same Kamaru as this one. He's going to be even better. Like, he's ever evolving. And just because Jorge looked better on this one, than he was in the first fight,
Yeah.
Kamaru's 2 fights ahead. He's had 2 fights since then. And, wow. I'm trying to imagine. I'm trying to remember how that first round went. That second round, that knockout was so insane.
I don't really remember much of the first. I think it was sort of the same though as the second. Kamaru kept letting that straight. He took him down. Jorge got up.
Now the first, Jorge was like allowing. It almost looked like
he kept getting hit. Like, oh, this isn't nothing. Like,
and sticking his tongue out and taunting him.
which is not a good idea.
Yeah.
I don't know why he did that. Bad idea.
Yeah, it was not a good idea.
Because either way, if it doesn't hurt, that's still damage you're taking. The judges are like, oh, okay.
You could tell Jorge was kind of like cocky.
Yeah.
He thought that it was going to be the same as the first, pillow hands or whatever you want to call it.
He underestimated his opponent.
He did. Never underestimate your opponent. We all know that. That's from like Karate Kid or some
Yeah.
shit. That's like in every boxing or MMA movie ever made. Any kind of martial arts movie ever made.
This is just any movie in general.
Yeah. That's just a rule of life. Don't
Yeah.
underestimate your opponent. And Jorge underestimated him. Jorge, like further analyzing the fight, Jorge was trying to establish that body kick to Kamaru. He hit him a couple times. He was trying to establish that. He did that same kind of switch punch he did against Darren Till. He did it once. I didn't land. He kept trying to catch him with, the fading back left hook, the check hook. None of that really landed. The body kicks, I think, did land. And I'm telling you, I think people,
people are thinking that's a weakness of Kamaru, and I will say I've said it before. Like that might be the weakness. That might be the kryptonite, the body kicks, because that's what Colby hurt him with when they fought. Was the body kicks. That's kind of when he faked the low blow. But Kamaru showed no signs of damage. It didn't look like it hurt him at all.
Well, I don't really think he landed a good body. I don't think he landed anything clean and crisp.
In that first round, I thought he landed like at least one or two. But even then, like I said, whatever he landed didn't
He wasn't
affect
phased.
Kamaru.
Yeah.
Didn't affect Kamaru at all. And then the second round starts and just nasty.
Yeah.
He does a left hook, which isn't even supposed to land, because what it does is it pulls down Jorge's backhand. He pulls down his rear hand and then throws the straight right down the middle. Pitch perfect. I mean, just perfect straight. Lands flush on Jorge's jaw.
Making
Jorge's
his
never
head
been
hit
knocked
his
out
shoulder.
until then. Yeah, literally. Yeah, you're right. So what you just said?
Making his head hit his shoulder. Straight, just head down.
Yeah. He falls down. He was still conscious. Like if Kamaru didn't jump on him and start landing those hammer fists, maybe he would have got back up. Maybe he would have rolled.
Yeah.
But Kamaru gets on him and just starts landing these hammer fists, and you can tell
He
Jorge
went
just
limp.
goes
He
out.
went limp.
I
He
mean,
was out.
Jorge got baptized, as he would say. Baptized, and Kamaru solidifies himself as, some people are saying, the GOAT. Some people are saying he's the 170 GOAT. His competition there would be George St. Pierre. Is he better than George St. Pierre? I don't know. I don't know. Like, who would win in a fight? That whole, in their prime, who would win? I don't know if we're never going to know that. But just focusing on this fight, Jorge's never been knocked out. That's the first time he's been knocked out. And it was a bad one. I will say to Jorge's, to his credit, he handled that defeat with class.
Oh,
dude.
yeah.
Class. For somebody who's never been knocked out before, and then to wake up and then just be like, you know what? Like, he's the better man. Congratulations. He told his kids that he's all right because, they were watching, and he handled it well. He handled it well.
He did.
Legendary. That was a legendary night of fights. Where does each fighter go from there? Is the question. Who does Kamaru defend against? What does Jorge do?
Kamaru, I think Usman either faces against Vicente Luque or Wonderboy Thompson. Then I feel like Usman.
See, I feel like
Usman either gets Luque, or not Usman.
Masvidal.
Masvidal either gets
Okay.
Luque, or maybe Masvidal faces someone else.
Yeah, that was my pick. My pick was Masvidal fights Vicente Luque. If they're looking at rankings and stuff, that would be a banger of a fight. That would be an entertaining, fun fight. That'd be a vicious fight. I don't know if Masvidal picks that fight up though. Like the money fight is gonna be.
I also feel like Colby and Usman too would be great.
Yeah.
Like Usman's a great champ. For some reason, I just don't like him. I think he's cringy, but he's a great champ. He's a GOAT. And I feel like Colby was the closest one to beating him, so I'd like to see that again.
Their first fight was very good. It was an epic
Oh,
fight. Masvidal first. I think Vicente Luque would be a fun fight. That's if you're looking at the rankings for money. They either got to go Nick or Nate Diaz, because they're talking about Nick coming back. That would be for the money.
Yeah, that'd be for the BMF too, I guess. I don't know.
That's where Masvidal goes. Usman, you have to look at. They have Nate Diaz versus Leon Edwards. Maybe you could possibly do the winner of that. People are saying Gilbert Burns versus Wonder Boy. The winner of that. I think if Wonder Boy beats Gilbert Burns, yes. But just giving Burns
Another shot?
another shot like that quick, I say no. I don't think it sells well, and also I just.
And I feel like Burns would lose again, and I don't really think that's good for him.
Yeah, I don't think it's good for him either. So yeah, if Wonder Boy goes up, which I've been saying this, I think for me to consider Usman the GOAT right now, I want to see him beat Wonder Boy
Just because I think Wonder Boy is the best striker, not only in the UFC but in that weight class, and to say that you beat the best striker in your weight class is a big fucking deal.
Yeah, it is.
And I think if he beats him, I would call him probably the 170 welterweight GOAT. That's another discussion we can continue in a minute, but I think either the winner of Wonder Boy versus Gilbert Burns, the winner of Nate versus Leon, or just honestly, I think they need to make the Colby fight. They need to make the Colby rematch. Is what I think. I think it sells well. That first fight was amazing. There's legitimate bad blood. They kept trying to make bad blood between Masvidal and Usman.
Yeah, but not really.
It wasn't there. Yeah, like they were both trying to sell it. There's not bad blood there. There's legitimate bad blood with Colby and Usman.
I think there's bad blood with Colby and anyone who he fights with. Like, he's annoying. No one likes you. Like,
my opinion is I think Usman finishes Colby even faster than he did that first fight. That first fight,
probably.
I'm not gonna lie, everybody hates Colby Covington's persona.
Yeah.
I think everybody loathes it. I wasn't a fan of his. I was picking Usman to win when they first fought.
But I definitely got respect from that fight.
I got respect for Colby.
Yeah.
I kind of became a Colby fan. I was like, I like his style. I like the volume. I like that he's a strong wrestler, so he could keep it standing if he wanted. And I respected that he fought.
That's why I think it'd
2
be a great
rounds.
matchup too. They're both wrestlers. They're both great at wrestling, but they're also both good at striking and stand up and have cardio. Like, it's just.
And I said
beasts.
in that fight that Usman's power was going to be the difference. They both got cardio, but I think Usman has more crack to his shots. He's got more pop. Sure enough, dude. I respect Colby for fighting 2 rounds with a broken jaw.
Yeah.
But that power eventually is what put him down in the 5th, and he finished it up with a TKO. And I think this time it's probably like a second round TKO or KO. I mean, this Usman is a monster, and we've seen what happens when you're inactive after you fight him. Masvidal was inactive after you fought him, and look what happened to him. What was Colby's last fight? I don't even remember.
Me neither.
Tyron Woodley. He fought Tyron Woodley and beat Tyron Woodley.
Yeah, but
And that was it. That was a while back,
I'd also like to see Usman versus a jiu-jitsu artist.
See,
like Chiesa.
Yeah.
But that's hard to say because the MMA math, Jorge beat Chiesa, and if Chiesa faces Usman, then it's like weird.
MMA math doesn't add up, but at the same time, MMA math doesn't always make sense. It never really does. I think Chiesa would have to get 2 or 3 more wins to get up there.
Yeah. But I say that too because Chiesa is big for that weight, and Usman, he is big, but Chiesa looks big and like.
At the end of the day, though, Usman beat Damian Maia, and you could argue that's the best jiu-jitsu guy ever. There is some controversy with that fight because the referee literally pulled off Damian Maia from being in a standing back mount position where he could have got a rear naked choke. The referee stopped it, which was kind of bullshit, but nonetheless, Usman beat Damian Maia.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm saying. If he beat Wonder Boy, that means he beat the best striker and then the best jiu-jitsu guy, grappler, whatever you want to say, in his respected weight class. I mean, Tyron Woodley, you could say, is like a really
Best
good,
wrestler.
strong wrestler, a good grappler. I mean, there's no argument there that he would have to be the GOAT. I didn't like the Vicente. You said Vicente Luque earlier. I think you meant for Masvidal.
Yeah.
It would be cool to see him eventually fight Vicente Luque, but I think he's in the same position as Michael Chiesa. He's got to get 2 or 3 more wins to get up there.
Agree.
It was a spectacular finish he had on Tyron Woodley.
Very nice.
Because Colby Covington didn't finish Tyron. Kamaru didn't finish Tyron.
It just shows how much power he's got too.
Gilbert Burns didn't finish Tyron, and Luque Vicente did. He finished him bad.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think that's where they go from there. I personally think they need to make the Colby Kamaru 2. A lot of champs try to avoid the sequels, but I
feel like that'd be a good one that would sell and just be a good all-around fight.
And just solidify it.
Yeah.
There was controversy in that one because Kamaru said he got hit with a low blow, when in reality he didn't.
Yeah.
Not taken away from his win.
And Colby said it was like an early stoppage by the ref.
Yeah, I don't know if that was true. I don't know if it was early stoppage because he was kind of taking damage. But the judges had Colby winning that fight, and it was in the 5th round. If it would have went to decisions, Colby would have been the champ. So I think that's the right fight to make.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's hard to tell. You know, Wonder Boy could get a spectacular finish and they make that fight just because it would maybe sell better. Who knows? But I think that's where they go. Now, do you think he's the GOAT right now?
Usman?
Like over George St. Pierre?
I don't think he's over George St. Pierre. Like you said, if he beats Wonderboy Thompson, I think he'll be the GOAT.
Okay, I agree.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to get into who would win in a fight between the two because that's just. I think the only reason why people are still saying George St. Pierre is the GOAT,
It's because he has hair. After all this time, he has hair.
he finally grows some hair, that silver hair. Yeah, it's bizarre looking to me.
I know. It looks like a saber tooth or some crap.
Yeah. No, I was just gonna say because he's got a lot of names on his record. He's got Nick Diaz, like Dan Hardy, Matt Hughes. He
Serra.
had prime BJ Penn. He beat BJ
Matt.
Penn twice. Matt Serra. Yeah, like he's got these big names that he beat.
These get legends, killers.
I think Usman has beaten better talent. It's just George St. Pierre has beaten these people with these names that everybody recognizes as legends. But Usman's definitely beat the better talent. Like you put any of the guys that Usman just beat, put them against those guys, and the guys that Usman beat would have beat the guys that George St. Pierre beat.
Yeah.
I just think his name's got to get out there, dude, and it will. It will.
And it's also the era and the time. Like back then, those are big names. Those are
Yeah.
people that had skill and whatnot. But now, new era, new time, new striking, new wrestling. It's a whole different ballgame.
You have all-around fighters.
Yeah.
Fighters that can do everything. Kamaru is definitely beating tougher competition. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing his future fights. Same with Rose. Same with, dude, it was such a good night of fights.
It was very good.
I feel bad for Weidman, but like even that, like every fight had drama or like something that was just so shocking
Mm-hmm.
behind it. It pulled the entire crowd into it, pulled us as viewers and fans into it. I don't know. 10 out of 10 card. It was really good. That's all I've got for this. The upcoming fight, which we don't have to
Yeah,
do our
probably
picks now.
get into that later.
Get into that later.
Next
But
week.
the upcoming one it's UFC on ESPN 23. Reyes versus Prochaska. Blah, blah, blah. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Jiri, whatever his name is. Bro, we're going to have to look up that name. That
Yeah.
name's hard to pronounce, dude. Polish cat. Anyways, that's going to be a pretty cool light heavyweight fight. Looks like a pretty good card for it to be on UFC, for it to be on ESPN. So we'll cover that in the next video. We're going to try to get more consistent. Sorry for falling off there for a little while, but we're back on.
Yep, we're catching you back up.
So that's all that we've got. You got anything else?
Nope, I think that's it for this episode.
I'm Caleb,
I'm Jacob.
and thanks for listening to Ramblin' Ray's Fight Night. See you guys later.
Stay
Hydrated.
tuned for the next fight and stay hydrated.
Hey, boy.